Hello, everyone. Welcome in. Today is our Pondering Dreams workshop, which I'm really excited for. I feel like I've been getting eagerly excited for this event for about a month now. If you guys didn't see, I just this morning finished the instructions for the scrapbook page, that the double aspect kind of scrapbook page, and the new card that I did, I think 2 weeks ago. So if you guys didn't see, there are instructions. They are in kind of a lot of different places, so you should have seen them by now. They were in the newsletter, they were in the Facebook groups, and where else have we put them? Oh, the website. If you cannot find the instructions, this did start at 1 p.m. Yes. So we just started Atlanta. So this is recorded as well, so everyone will get this recording. I'm probably going to send this out Wednesday because we have Craft X tomorrow and I have pottery right after work, so I can't stay late, unfortunately. Otherwise, I would. But yeah, Wednesday, you guys can get the recording. I'm just gonna, I think, start. You guys are hopefully ready by now. If you have any questions, you can either interrupt me or you can drop them in the chat. But yeah, if you got questions, you can, either way is fine. But yeah, let's get started. So the kit is estimated to arrive next week, just for an update. I'm trying to find where did my camera flipper go. Oh, there it is. The kits are arriving next week, so just keep that in mind for everyone's class kits. We've got about 130 left. Oh, I should mention this now, actually. Dennis did tell me that we are getting just the paper pads in. And that's actually one thing I wanted to mention. So in your kit, you guys have got all of the everything in it. For the craft along, you'll probably notice that you're going to use up all your paper and you're not going to want to buy a whole kit again to reteach your customers. So we have just paper pads coming in separately. That is what I recommend you use for teaching. Buy the paper pad and then reuse all the stamps and dies and everything that we're using in the workshop today. Just buy the paper pad for when you go to reteach your customers because you're going to run out of paper. So that's not on the website yet. Dennis is hoping, hopefully, I think by the end of the day, maybe. I will let everyone know when the paper pads are available. And that's just the paper pads. So the instructions, I have printed them in black and white and color because I wanted to kind of see. And the color ones obviously look great. You can really see all the colors. So if you're printing these for your customers, I really would recommend just printing this one page in color because you can see all of the colors from here. The cards themselves don't need the colors. I am just going to go through because some people are unmuted. I'm just going to mute everyone because I don't want to have a bunch of just background noise. Sorry if I'm muting you. Unmute yourself if you have a question, but then mute yourself again after. But yeah, I would recommend printing all the instructions in color. And then if you can, just print the one page, or customers can write their own numbers and letters. But yeah, I'm going to use the colored ones today because that'll be easier for me. So we are going to get started. I'm going to show you the cards I'm going to do first because they're more of the technique cards, and then the other ones you guys can do on your own because they're very easy. So we're going to do this one first. This is the messiest one. Also, I think my favorite one. We're going to do this one as well. Then we're going to do the stenciling. I really like this one. This one's really easy, but I love it. And then if we have time, we'll do more cards. But for the scrapbook pages, I want to do this one with you, which is backwards. goes this way. We'll do the two coordinating scrapbook layouts. And then if we have time, we'll do this one as well. So that's the plan. I'm going to start with the first card. So leave it there. And what I'm going to tell you you're going to want is you should have it nearby. So I'm going to grab a variety of brown water reactive inks. So I've just got a variety of colors. I'm not necessarily using them all, just so I have an idea. I've got a variety of an orange that I like. I think I'm just going to use the dried marigold and the tea one, the tea dye. And then I do want a light, I think the crushed olive is the one I have here. I'm going to take a green and don't need a yellow. So variety of browns. I've got a greenish color and then an orangey kind of color that I used on the backgrounds. Then you're going to want to take a piece of watercolor cardstock. If I can find my watercolor paper. I know it's right here. There we go. And we're going to trim this to 3.5 inches by 7 11/16 of an inch. So I'm going to grab my paper trimmer and it'll be 3.5 inches wide. So 3.5 inches wide. If I am going too quick, also you can let me know. I am usually quick, so I'll have to remember. Has there been a decision made if the distress inks will be offered to wholesale? I know we can't offer them to wholesale because we pay the wholesale price the same as you guys. So, I know Dennis has tried to carry Ranger before, but I'm not sure they, for some reason, don't want to work with us, I guess. But yeah, we can't offer these on wholesale, unfortunately, because we don't get distributor pricing. We just get the wholesale pricing that you guys get. So we pay the same. But yeah, these are just the ones I'm using. I figured most of you guys probably have them. The Studio Light ones are also good for doing this background technique. All right, and I'm going to do 7 11/16. Go. Measurements, Emily. Hopefully hopefully my measurements are right. I don't know why. Okay. Okay. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some low tack tape. Oh, what are they? The measurements. So 3.5 inches wide by 7 11/16 of an inch. So 7 inches and 11/16. Right. Next step, we are going to grab some low tack tape. I think I'm going to use the Studio Light one. This one sometimes, so I am going to just stick this to get a little bit of the tack off, just because I have had this one tear before. And then what I'm going to do is just create a bit of a frame. So I'm going to just tape it. You don't have to do this. You can just tape it a little bit, but I'm taping it so that it's on the page. You can see it right on the paper. Made a bit of a frame showing. And I'm going to do this all the way around. If I can grab my tape. Maddie, it's not available yet. I will let everyone know when it is available, the paper pads. Just taping this off again, just trying to take a little bit of the tackiness off. Also, if I don't get if I miss a question, feel free to ask it again. There is a possibility I forget to look at the chat. Oops. This is the Art by Marlene. I think it's the stencil tape, I think is what it's called, that I'm using right now. All right, so I'm just gonna tape it off like that. All right, now what I'm gonna do is you want to have a heat gun handy. This will make it quicker. And a acrylic stamping block. Mine is dirty, but I can't get it clean for some reason, but that's okay. I have a smaller and larger one. I actually kind of prefer the smaller one. And a spray bottle of just water. I'm going to start with a lighter color, so not the browns. I think I'm going to start with the tea dye. It's good background color. And I'm going to smoosh this onto my acrylic platform. And I'm going to put quite a bit of this color because this is going to be kind of my base color. I'll have a lot of this one. And all I'm going to do is spritz it with water. I want to make sure that it's absorbing enough and I don't have that ink pad mark on there. And just smoosh, smoosh, and smoosh is what I call this. Just keep smooshing. And then I'll dry it. Now I'm not actually going to fully dry this one because I am going to go back in with this color. And so these are just going to blend anyway, so I don't have to necessarily dry it. And again, just smoosh. And I do focus a bit more on the edges. All right, doesn't have to be perfectly dry, just enough so the colors don't mix together too much. I kind of want the colors to look a bit more separate. Elaine put a good tip in. She said that she puts her acrylic blocks in the dishwasher and it works great. So I'm gonna have to give that a try. Thank you. And I am gonna grab just a baby wipe and just wipe that color off so I don't get it on my next ink pad. This next one I'm going to use is dried marigold. I'm not going to go too heavy-handed with this, just a little bit. Apply water. And if you have maybe too much of a color in one spot, you can grab a dry paper towel or napkin or something and just pick up the color and it'll soften it up a little bit. So I might just go in because I want some orange at the bottom and just add a small amount, spritz it, and then dry that. And sometimes it's taking too long to dry with this, and I get impatient, so then I'll just go in and pick it up with my um, paper towel or Kleenex, just because I don't want to wait. I'm impatient. All right, next I'm going to clean this up again, and I'm going to go in with a brown. I'm going to use the brushed corduroy color. And go in with quite a bit. Now I'm going to spritz this, not too heavily, and go where I'm missing some color, where there's some like what looks like empty spots. And then I just keep reusing the block until nothing's coming off.
Suspect. You're not muted. It was.
Right. And then I'm going to go in, I think last color will be the crushed olive to add some of that green in here. And I'm going to add a little bit in one small area, and I'm going to be more strategic with applying this color. A little bit there, a little bit down there. And pick up some colors if there's too much in one area. Yeah. Okay, now I'm gonna actually kind of dry it a bit more. This I'm not gonna add any more inks on top, so just dry it. Keep drying it. Feel like that's good. And I'm just going to move this for a second. I'm not going to peel the tape off just because I worry if it's still a bit wet, it'll tear. So I'm just going to leave that to dry, clean off my surface. And then I'm going to trim the other paper for this. So going to grab a black piece of cardstock and your paper trimmer. I lost mine already. Where did I put that? There it is. And then I'm going to measure this to, it'll be 3 5/8 of an inch wide. So 3 5/8. 1, 2, 3 5/8 by 7 13/16 of an inch. So 7 13s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Actually, don't put that away. You're going to need that. Oops, oops, oops. There we go. Hands are going a little crazy. And then we're going to trim the B2 piece of paper, which is the brown wooden patterned piece of paper. And I'm going to trim this to the 4 inches wide. So 4 inches wide by 7. Nope, this is 8, 13, 6. That's a whole inch more. Hold on. I think I accidentally messed up this instruction. So I'm going to cross this out and I'll edit this later. Where it says 8, 13, 16. It should not be 8. It should be 5/16. So 7 5/16. So 4 inches wide by 7 5/16 wide or long. So 7, and this will be 5/16 of an inch. Oh wait, no, don't do anything. I'm just realizing that's not a 3. That should have been a 13. I really did. I can see I messed that instruction. Let me. Okay, so it should be 13, 14, 15, 7, 15, 16. Okay, now we've got it. So 7, 15, 16. So we've got 7, and it'll just be 1/16 under 8, basically. 1/16 under 8. And I think I've got it. No. So it's a little bit wide on the side, but that's okay. And I'm not gonna put that away yet because I think I might need to trim this down after. We'll see. So slowly and carefully just peel off your tape. Slower the better, because if you do it too quick, like I've just tried to do, it will just tear a little bit. Slow and steady. Oop, that one came off real easy. And if anybody's does tear, just ink your edges and that'll help hide it. All right, there we go. So that is completely dry now. If you heat the tape really quick, that's another tip. It will release without tearing. Thank you, Maddie. So we're gonna get our stamping platform now. And I'm
I haven't
going,
even used mine yet. I bought that stamping platform from them.
your hunky dory,
I forget how to do it.
the
You
stamping
put
platform. It's really easy. I'll show you here. The hunky dory one, I don't think we're supposed to sell it in the States, but it is my favorite one. And the stamp I'm using is the one with the ducks. And then this is going to go off the top and the bottom of the page. So just make sure it's even, just going off the top and the bottom slightly, and side to side is even. Stamp that down. And I used, I think it was a brown ink. What one did I put in my instructions? Yeah. No. Yes, it was dark brown. So I'm going to use the pine cone stamp. Ink, I mean, not stamp. From VersaFine Claire. And ink that stamp. That one actually smells like chocolate for some reason. And just stamp that down. So this one is on a like push mechanism. So when I lift it up, it's not touching. There's a space between the paper and the stamp right now, but when I put pressure, that's where the stamp actually gets put on the paper. And then it looks like I've just missed the middle section. So I'm just gonna place it back on and apply the pressure in the middle. Okay, that looks good. Now I did stamp a second time on this one and it did go darker. I think I'm just gonna leave one stamp this time. And I'm debating on coloring it on here. No, I'm gonna take it out. Now I am going to just wipe off this stamp with a baby wipe. And I'm going to put this stamp away because I'm actually not going to use this anymore for today. Put this away. Now I am going to just heat this and hopefully it'll just dry quicker. Hopefully. Okay, no transfer. Looks like we're good. All right. I'm going to grab some coloring materials. So I'm going to use some watercolors. You could do it in pencil crayon and a marker or even some blending brushes. I just like the watercolor on here because it's like a watercolor background almost. can see. And I'm going to grab a brown color. It's really any brown color I see. If I can open the case. Actually, no, I don't want that. Where is Gathered Twigs is a good brown. Open this. Okay. Gathered Twigs and then a water brush and a scrap piece of paper. Trying to find the scraps that I cut off my watercolor cardstock earlier. Here it is. And I'm just going to get a bit of water on my surface so that the brush is wet, and then pick up some brown ink and just test how opaque it is. And then what I'm going to do with the brown is where the grass is here, I'm just going to color the grass in the brown. This just helps kind of highlight this area and it makes it look a bit more real. So focus it on the bottom and then with the brush, just drag it up a bit. Not too much though, just a little. And around the bird, just make sure it's all colored. All right, now what I'm going to do is color in the body of the bird, but not the neck. And I'm going to do this with a variety of browns usually, but for today's sake, I'm just going to kind of go heavy-handed and lighter-handed in some areas, and that'll just create my different shades of brown if I go a bit heavier and lighter. But just make sure that it is colored enough that it looks more defined. You can kind of see it stands out from the background a bit more. Mine right now is looking a little too blended. Okay, that's good. Oh, I forgot there's two birds flying. And I just realized I got my paper wet. There we go. Okay, now just color in the second bird. Wings. All right, now I'm going to grab, put that away, whoops, green. Let's try the Lucky Clover. It's a greenish, bluish color. And I'm going to color in the neck and the head, not the beak though, of these birds. The ducks. All right, and then I'm going to go in with an orange or a yellow. I'm just going to do a yellow. Wipe off that green. And just color in the nose, the beak of the ducks. All right, now I'm going to put these away. Sorry, my nose is dripping. Put by my Kleenex. All right, so I've got that done. Now I'm just going to mount it on here Okay, I measured that right, but this one I've got to trim a little bit off the side. So I'm gonna go back to my measuring. And I am gonna have to change. So this whole measurement I butchered. So it's actually supposed to be, I'll redo the instructions and let you guys know when they are done with the edits I'm making during today. So that will be 2 more, so that'll be 7. Okay, so I had to change this. So I'm gonna take off the side. It was 4 inches, but I'm gonna cut it to 3 7/8 of an inch. So this is 3 7/8 of an inch. One. And then that should look much better. No, I did it wrong again. Okay, I think it's supposed to be 3 1/4, 3/4 of an inch. Okay, I finally got this one right. Okay. It was 3. Thankfully, I'm cutting it smaller, not making it larger. Those adjustments are so much easier to make. So it'll be 3 3/4 of an inch by 7 15 16. So again, I'll make that adjustment in the actual instructions and then I'll update it for you all. And that way you guys have the up-to-date instructions. I unfortunately did not have time to redo all my cards following my own instructions. So I do apologize for that. And I'm just now creating some layers by gluing the black piece of cardstock on top of the brown wooden textured paper. And then I'm going to glue this down. And then this one, I am going to try and make sure it's as flat as possible because the page is a little bit warped from all the water that was on the watercolor cardstock. Just apply pressure, make it nice and flat. All right, there we go. We have our first card complete. So this frame I made a little bit larger than this frame. You can see it was just a small frame on the side that I made. And I like them both. They both turned out really nice. All right, first card done. Next card we are going to move along to is the other slimline one, which where did I put that card? No, I just had it. Oh, there it is. Okay, it's this card here. So just make enough space for you to craft again. All right. And I'm going to set that aside. And we're going to take a piece of white cardstock and trim this. I feel like this might be the one I already trimmed. I said to do homework, but I didn't do the homework. I forgot. No, this wasn't one that was in the homework anyway. Okay, so it's a good thing because I didn't cut it. We get to cut it together. Piece of white cardstock. Oops. Gonna cut it to 8 1/8 of an inch. 8 1/8 of an inch. By where did I go? 3 3/4 of an inch. 3 3/4 of an inch. Then you can set that other piece aside. And then I know we are going to need to trim while I've got the cutter out. I'm just going to trim it. What paper was it? From the B1. So that is the first page in the background. So I'm going to take this page here, which, oh, okay. I was like, wait, I'm supposed to have two. I only found one, but it's because it was stuck to the top. There we go. Okay, I'm going to take that out and I'm going to trim this to 3 7/8. So 3 7/8 of an inch. Okay. 8 1/4 of an inch. So 8 1/4. And that is going to be our little mounting piece. Also, do not throw any of these little pieces out. I do use them on some of these card projects. I'll say grab from your scraps and stuff. I do notice I gotta apply more pressure to my trimmer. I'm just going to sand off any edges that are not looking perfect. All right, now what we're gonna do is grab our blue blending ink. I grabbed a variety of inks for this. I think I'm going to do the Broken China and Tumbled Glass. We'll do a combination of those two. Actually, yeah. I'm doing one. All right, and my cardstock. So we're gonna do some just background blending. You guys know this already. Just circular motions. Start, actually, this might be too light colored. No, I want a darker. We're doing Broken China. There, that's much more blue. Yeah, just start in the corner and then add your colors, focusing heavier on the outer edge, and then it'll go lighter as you work your way in, just to create a bit of like an ombre effect. I also find it kind of looks like the stamp is highlighted because you're stamping in the middle. Bigger the brush, the better. It goes a lot quicker, as you can see. And then also I like to pick up anything that's on the surface. Oops. You guys are pretty quiet today. All right. I'm just gonna also add some where it's white, just so there is blue. Okay. Now we are going to grab our stamp sets. So that is these guys here, these two stamp sets, and we're going to take this one. It's got some like splatters, it looks like, and this one here. Another like splatter looking piece. And your acrylic stamping block. And I'm gonna wipe this up just so it's clean. There we go. All right, now we're just gonna do some random stamping. So I'm gonna take my splatter, I didn't use, I actually don't do this. I haven't, I know these aren't stamping inks. I haven't stamped with them. I just want to see. No, I'm gonna stick to my VersaFine. So I'm gonna take the Paradise in the VersaFine Claire. And do some second generation stamping or third. Actually, I think let's play around with both. We'll do some third and second generation stamping. So stamp on a scrap piece, then you stamp on your page. And again, you'll have a little bit left over. So just keep stamping until it really runs out. like so. And just do this. So one tip, always kind of go off the page a bit so it doesn't look like it's all in the middle. You want to have some off the edge. Also move your stamping block around. Your stamp looks a little bit different in the different angle that you are holding it in. Making a mess. Clean that up before I get that all over my page. Go. And some on the edge. Oh, that was a lot darker than I anticipated, but that's okay. I just have to make sure I add some more darker stamps in. And I'm doing it around the edge a lot, you'll notice, but I'm gonna now go in the middle with a third generation stamp because I don't want it too vibrant. Okay, now I did add a brown when I did this, but I don't like it, so I'm not gonna add brown. I'm just gonna stick to blue, but I'm gonna switch to the other stamp, this stamp here, and do exactly what I just did. I just want to see how pigmented that one was. And then this is just creating some fun backgrounds. I do this on quite a few of my like grungier styled cards. Okay, that's good enough. So I've added that, and if I wanted to, I might actually, I think I'm going to do that. I'm going to go back in with, let's go back in with this color and just, no, I'm not, I know I can't blend very well with that. I don't know what I just dropped. I'm going to go in and add a bit more blue just because it's too bright and the stamps are standing out a bit too much. So just blend more blue and I'll just make it more of a subtle background. I think that's better. Okay. Now we can stamp. So this is kind of similar to what we just did. Oh, I realize there's some comments I haven't seen, so I'm just gonna read that quickly. Quiet equals working. Oh, good. I'm glad you guys are enjoying it. Is there a difference between the distressed ink and the distressed oxide? Yes, there is. I can't remember what the difference is. We don't, the distressed oxide is the most popular. The distressed ink, we don't actually carry. That is one that you'll want to look up. I don't know the exact answer to off the top of my head right now. Okay. I'm eating at the same time, LO. All right. So we are going to place this in. Gosh, I'm nervous. I'm not going to have enough time to get through everything. So I'm going to try and go a little bit quicker. But take the stamp. This is the second stamp, slimline stamp I'm using with the flower at the bottom. And I'm going to try and position this as centered as I can get it. So when I first did this, I stamped it in brown. I think I'm going to stamp it in black today. I am debating on blue, but I don't think I want to do that. So we're going to do black. These are such nice stamps and they stamp so beautifully. All right, one and done. Perfect. So detailed. Like, look at all of that. Okay, I'm gonna clean my stamp up so I don't get black ink on myself later. Actually, I'm gonna put that stamp away as well because I'm done with this stamp for the day. Take this out. Now this we kind of just did, but we'll do it quickly again. So take those coloring, whatever you're using to color. And before I color, I'm just gonna move this out of my way. All right, so I need a purple. I chose purple for the flower because I thought that was a good color to go with the blue background. I didn't want a brown flower. So just grab one. Yep, there we go. And a scrap piece of paper just to test. I want it more pigmented because it's going over kind of a dark background. All right, now color in your flower. Now this is not going to be the best watercoloring or coloring, just because I'm going to do this quickly. Color. I also partly the reason I chose the watercolor was because I found it a bit more kind of forgiving. I could do this quicker and not have to be so perfect and perfectionist about it. Whereas I find if I was coloring with like an alcohol marker, I'd have to be a bit more precise. All right, I've colored the purple. Now I didn't do this on my last one and I kept forgetting to do it. I'm going to add my green stem. I think that will make the flower itself pop a little bit more. So just grab some green. A much lighter green than I probably would have wanted to use, but that's okay. And just follow the stem. Oh, I just realized I didn't actually finish coloring all of the flower. I thought I got it all, but realized I didn't. That's okay. I've got enough of it. And then I'm going to add some green to the trees. And again, I'm just going to messily, you can see I'm doing it in a bit of a circular motion. Like so. And then I'm going to, I think, put the green away. Yeah, there's no more green that I need. I'm going to grab the yellow and brown. I'm gonna wipe off my brush a bit and pick up the yellow. And I'm going to just color in the little duck at the bottom. This little guy down here. Right, and then go in with the brown. And the brown I'm going to add to this area here. It's a bit like a little bit, could be dirt, murky water, just to add some other colors into the picture. And then there are some cattails here that I'm going to add a bit of brown into the background. It'll just kind of highlight them. Oh, I just realized there's another duck here that I covered in brown on my last card. So I'm going to highlight the second duck. So cute. And then once I'm satisfied with that, clearly I'm not, just there we go. I'm gonna go in with a blue. So grab blue and I'm going to pick up some blue and go here. So since this is where water would be, add a bit more blue there. And then I might actually have to use the chipped sapphire. It's a bit of a darker blue. And add that down here. I'll show you in a sec. Not wet enough. More water. There we go. So just down here, I added some of that darker blue. I might actually go in here and just make that blue a bit more vibrant. All right, now another thing I did, which I'm not going to do right now because it's going to take too long, is you'll notice on all the little bubbles, I have gone in and added that darker blue again. So that also I found helped highlight some other areas. Okay, now let's clean this up and then we will mount our card. So this can be mounted onto that blue piece. I didn't put my pin in it. It's drying on me. There we go. That should be good now. Now you could cut this down a bit smaller and then cut this down a bit smaller and then mount it onto a white card base to have another white frame, but I did it with just the blue. There is the second card here. The trees, I didn't highlight as much on this card. Two side by side. Too much detail, kind of goes blurry. All right. Now I'm just going to, I think I'm done with the the pencils. So I'm just going to put that away quickly. Next card, we are going to do the stenciling 5x7. So this piece, I'm gonna have to cut smaller, which I prepped my base, which was the only thing I really prepped today. Okay, I'm going to wipe my hands because I've got blue on them. And then grab a white piece of cardstock. Got a white piece of 5x7 cardstock that I am going to trim to 4 3/4 of an inch. So 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 of an inch. And then since I've got this out, I'm gonna skip ahead. And what paper did I use for the background? I didn't say. Okay, I know what one I used. I used the dark, oops. I did die cut a few flourishes. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna cut this. Just like, sorry, I like to ramble. This is going to be 4 and 7/8 of an inch. Yeah, I didn't write the measurement for this one, but that's okay. It's an easy one. All right, so 4 and 7/8 of an inch by 6 and 7/8 of an inch. So that'll create a little bit of a green frame. And then your card base will be your 5x7. Thought while I had the trimmer out still, I will use it and I'll just set that aside. Right, so now we're going to do some inking. So grab a variety of blues. So I picked two. I'm going to pick the broken china and the tumbled glass. And 2 colors of green inks. I'm going to do the mowed lawn and rustic wilderness. Then I need a brown ink. So I'm going to use, I think it was Gathered Twigs, was it? I'm pretty sure it was Gathered Twigs I used. And some yellows and oranges to create my sky. I'm going to use the No, I'm not gonna use the scattered straw. I think I'm just gonna use the squeezed lemonade for my yellow. And the wild honey and the spiced marmalade. I don't know if I'm gonna use the card pumpkin. All right, those are the colors. So let's start with the blue. Move the colors I don't need. Oh, dried marigold, actually. That would be a good one to have here. All right, blue, take in the tumbled glass. This is going to be the lightest blue that you have in a blending brush, a blue blending brush. And you're going to blend about halfway up the page. And I actually went just a little bit past halfway, but the aim is halfway. So what you normally do, you're blending. Now this one, I'm going to try and make an even color. I don't necessarily want like an ombre effect from the edges into the middle. However, if it happens, it happens. Could be an unintentional thing I end up doing. Keep coming up. Let's see. I think that's good. It's a bit past halfway. I think we're good there. Right, and then just wipe this so I don't mix my ink colors when I'm blending. Dry it down. We're going to take the yellow first and a yellow brush. And where the two, or it's going to meet with the blue. So in a circular position, blend it into the blue ever so lightly. Just to create a soft little strip like so. Then the yellow away. And I think dried marigold is the next color I'm going to use. I'm going to grab I'll grab a larger one. Brush. And now blend that into the yellow, but don't go all the way down to where the yellow meets the blue. You still want to see a bit of yellow. This just creates a bit more of a backgroundy sunset effect. And then at the top, we'll do what color? I think the spiced marmalade. And then I kind of just go over it all to just blend it. Obviously not all the way down to the blue. All right, so we've got our background. Wipe that up again. And then just dry it a little bit. Now don't put these all away yet. We're going to now grab our stencils, and I'm going to start with the one that's got the water and the lily pads. I'm going to use the top of it to create this exact card. You could also use the bottom one and have the scene coming from the side more like, because the water is rippling that way. But what we're going to do is make sure that you've got half of it at the bottom. You don't want some of this ripple into the other ripples. So make sure you know where your stencil ends. And then also you're going to want to manipulate it to make sure you're not having lily pads up in your sky. So, and side to side, you're also going to want to make sure that side to side is centered. All right. I think that's good there. This one, I think I did less green or less blue than the first time. Okay, I'm done. I'm leaving it there. Low tack tape. I'm just going to tape the sides so that my stencil doesn't move too much. And then just so the paper doesn't move. Oops. That should be good. There, okay. Now grab your small blending brushes. You're gonna want a green and a small blue. And I'm going to grab the broken china, so I want just slightly darker color. And where the water ripples or the words are, I'm gonna do the blue ink. So you're gonna strategically kind of do this. I also might grab a scrap piece of paper. Just grab a sticky note, that'll be just as easy. And I see that there's a lily pad here, so I'm just gonna kind of use it as a mark, like a little bit of a mask. And again, just make sure you're adding the blue to basically everywhere but the lily pads. And if you get it on the lily pad, that's fine. It's not a big deal. Just keep doing the water ripples. Because it is such a small brush, I have to keep going back in and loading up the color. Think I've almost got all the water. Oh, no, I missed a spot in the middle. Okay, close. All right, now we'll do the green. We're gonna use, where did my good greens go? I had my mowed lawn, there it is, gathered twigs or rustic wilderness, that's the one. Mowed lawn, no, so we're gonna use mowed lawn for the lily pad. And I'll just color in your lily pads. Again, now you're gonna avoid the ripples. Just color in the green lily pads. And if you do get it in the ripples again, it really doesn't matter. I will be getting some mixed in now since blue and green. Well, green goes, wait, no, blue goes into green. It's not a big deal. Which is also partly why I'm not too worried about mixing of the colors. This card, I mean, this part's taken longer than I anticipated. Okay. Right, well, I feel like I've never been this quiet before. But do the tiny brushes come in a pack? I believe the brushes sizes come like in different packs. So like there's the small brushes that come in a set where you get a bunch of the different colored handles with the brushes, and then I think the medium size and the larger size, like they're sold like a pack of small and larger ones. And then I did miss a spot. Oops, just move my stencil slightly, just put it back into place. Right, I just missed a blue spot that I'm gonna cover now. Okay, that should be good. Remove that. Now grab your second stencil. And we're going to position this. So I'm going to position it so that the cattails are kind of coming from the corner. I think I'll do it like this, kind of just position it however you like. So this is the sample here of it coming out. So using your small, I'm going to use the Rustic Wilderness for green this time, and your small brush. Just go over top. And I like to go quite heavy-handed with this because I don't want to see the stencil behind. Now if you get the tops of the cattails, it really doesn't matter because you're covering it with brown. I still avoid it, but I need to re-ink this one until it's getting very dry. I know, actually no, I was going to use a different ink pad. This is definitely dry. That's too dry. I'm just going to use the spruce ink from Versafine Clear on here just because that's not going to work very well. My ink pad's running low. Use a combination of the both of them actually, since I've already placed this color down. Now, brown, need my brown brush. Gathered twigs, I'm just picking up the ink and blending it in the top. However, much and little.
Emily,
Yeah,
how long are the bristles on that brush that you're using?
good
Oh,
question.
quite long. Okay.
I'd say
3/4 of an inch,
I'd say
almost.
more than that. So
And
it's a bit under about one, two, three,
yeah.
3/5 of an inch, I would say. Or
And
not
it is
3/5, sorry,
3/8. 3/8.
I think that's what I meant to say was 3/8. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 3/8.
And it is rounded at the end?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. And these are what? These are the tiny ones, medium ones?
These are the smallest ones from Studio Light.
And another question, in the chat, we were just talking about the mat that you were using. Is it a magnetic mat?
Yes.
So just out of curiosity, is it because you can't find the magnets?
Well, I always forget that this is magnetic, not gonna lie.
Okay, I wondered that. I'm not gonna lie. I did wonder that.
Yes, I just forget that it's magnetic, which is why I use the tape. It's just I'm so used.
Habit.
Yep, it's a
Yeah.
habit. Thank you for all the questions.
No
Is that
problem.
Elena?
Thanks for doing this. It is Alana, yes.
Okay, thank you, Elena. Right, so I'm just finishing the brown. All right, now I'm going to remove that. So we've got one cattail. And then the other one, what I did was I'm going to remove the ink off of the front of this with my napkin. And I'm just going to do this carefully because this stencil, it's got those little pieces always sticking out. And when you run over it with a napkin like this, it'll pick up. So just carefully removing the ink. And then I like to just do the back side because, yep, the back side usually gets ink on it too after you clean it. And then back to the other side. Okay, that should be clean. Now I'm just gonna take a dry paper towel and just dry it off. Okay, so this one it was facing this way, so now we're gonna flip the stamp, or not stamp, stencil, and it's gonna be kind of similar. And I'm going to move it down a bit and cut it a bit more off the page. I want it to look like a different stencil, even though it's the same. Now, thank you for the reminder, Alana. I can use my magnets. I had them here the whole time, Alana. I just forgot about them. Okay.
That's
Um, I'm gonna use a different. Okay, I didn't like diversifying Claire for the ink. I'm gonna go back and use the mauve lawn with the rustic wilderness. Gotta make sure I re-ink that. The rustic wilderness is a really good green color. The reason I chose the rustic wilderness instead of the mowed lawn was because it's a different green, and I thought it made it look a little bit more real having the different colors, so your different blues, your different greens.
We tell our customers that it's a very Christmas green and it has a black undertone, a dark, dark undertone versus the mauve
Yes.
lawn.
I wouldn't have thought of Christmas green. I mean, I think of Christmas red because that's a hard one. But yes, you're right. It would be a good green for Christmas because it's not that bright.
Mhm. It's good for summer too, because it's got that dark look to it versus
Mhm.
that bright green that
Yes.
mowed lawn.
Yeah, mauve lawn is definitely a grass green. Not
Springtime, fresh green.
yeah. Yep, those are done. Now I did end up using the smaller one and adding that in for today's sake. I'm not going to. However, I am going to add the birds flying. I think I might do it like that. And then I'm going to I used black. I'm going to do brown because I think I might like the brown more. And I'm going to use a larger brush because it'll make it a lot easier and quicker. Okay. Yeah, I like the brown much better. The black's too vibrant. All right, now, you guys should have, this is the one thing I did do for homework was die cut the birds out. So I'm just gonna try and pop that out now. I left them in the die so I didn't lose them. All four little birds. Wipe my fingers and close my ink pads. Don't put them away yet though. Where is my napkin? There we go. Try and get this green off. I'm going to show up to pottery tonight with green fingers. Okay. Now, these little guys, I'm just going to color in yellow. I'll just take what yellow do I want to use? I might use scattered straw. Let's do scattered straw. There we go. That was easy. I've got two yellow birds. And now I'm going to place the larger ones and I'm going to do the feet in a yellow, which I don't have a small one. I've got a brown brush, but it's okay. Feet and the beak. Doesn't have to be perfect, so I'm covering it with brown anyway. And then the neck of my brother Matt, he works here. I colored these all in brown and he gave me shit. He goes, "That's not what a bird looks like." So then I now feel like I have to make it the right colors. So we're gonna grab the I didn't grab a good color for this. There is a better colors, damn it. All right. Let's do, we're gonna have to mix colors to get the color I want. A little bit of blue. So now I've got green in there, that's okay, and a little bit of green. And do the neck of this bird.
Did, did he school you on what kind of birds look like what?
Yeah, he did. He, yeah. And then I had to come back and show him. He was like, "That's an actual bird."
Nice.
Yeah, he gave me all the names and I can't remember them. There's like a
Well,
mallard.
yeah, the one you're working on looks like a mallard.
Thank you. Okay.
Emily, there's a question in the chat from Shauna asking about what kind of a gem picker you're using.
Oh, this is a Studio Light one. It comes clear. I just added in gold glitter. I almost added pink, but I thought that was too much, so I did the gold. Okay. And it's from Studio Light. I don't know if I said the brand. It's a Studio Light poker tool. I'm gonna go in with Vintage Photo. And I'm going to now just blend over top of the birds, the ducks. And I liked the blending brush for this because it is highlighting on the embossing detail, and then I'll just go in with a smaller brush and add in some more if I need it. Right, got our two birds. Close these up. Now I'm going to, I did 3D these. So when I did it, I cut a tiny piece of black and hid it behind the eye, and then I 3D'd them up. I'm going to just glue these on flat because I think it will look just as nice. Gosh, there we go. Oh, glue all stuck to the outside. It's a good thing I've got nails right now. We do have replacement pins too, if anyone didn't know. I have had to use them already. There we go, finally. Yeah, I probably should have positioned this before I started gluing, but glue that there so it looks like it's on the lily pad. Glue this one at the bottom. Little ducks. Put one here. I'll put one there. So there are stamps that also would work on here. So if you are doing this for a class for your customers and maybe wanted to not have the die cut pieces on it, the stamps, you could always add this duck stamp and these little ones. You could always mask off. So you've got just one little duck here, another duck here, just pretty easy just to mask off with one. And then the birds too, if you wanted to do that. Now I'm going to grab a black pen and just go in and add some eyes. Again, from my first card I did, I 3D'd it and added a black piece of paper behind, just a small, but this was easier to do with just the black pen. And then obviously you'd add your sentiment. I'm going to mount this onto the base. Base or frame. And then cut a piece of cardstock to 5x7. I already have one cut, so I'll let you do that. And you can mount it on top. We've got a nice white frame. Now for sentiments, none came in the kit, which is good, gives you a variety. So I do recommend if you're gonna do it for a class, a stamp and die set is good because then you'll notice some of the cards I've die cut and some I've just stamped on, like this one I've just stamped. All right, so that is card number 3 that we've done. I'm going to just tidy my space up just a little bit so it's not so disorganized. Okay. think I think Let's do the, yeah, we'll do the next two cards that are on here, and then I think we'll move to a scrapbook, and then we'll come back. So we'll do both of these. Okay, clean this up. I don't think we need the brushes for any more cards, so you can set those aside. You will end up for the scrapbooking using the green blending brush, but that's the only one. Highway 242, Nova Scotia. Can you remind me your name? Because thank you. I appreciate your comment. I'm not sure how I'm doing. I'm hoping you guys are liking it. I'm doing okay so far. Leslie. Thank you, Leslie. All right. Next, we're going to grab some papers. So, in your paper pad, go to the page, it's like the second last page with the flowers, and tear that out. And then the other one, what page is that? B3. From the other book. And that goes. Oh, the first page, I think. One, two, three. I'm grabbing this. So you actually need three pieces. I thought we need two. I forgot. This is the first page I need. All right, so 3 pages here. We're going to first start with this, and I'm going to fussy cut the large flower image. Don't get scared. This is a really easy one to do. When you are cutting, just be careful that you're cutting just the flower. Don't go too all the way around. You're going to use this for die cutting. So don't cut into these flowers. I'm just going to cut my flower out so it's easier to cut. And then this will be used for other things. I might actually cut this out now. So cut out the flower. Now this one you're die cutting into, so it doesn't matter. Set this aside for later. Now using some scissors. I just like to use some small ones. This is the stem here. Leave that stem attached. Don't cut the stem off. And you're just going to cut around the flower. Doesn't have to be perfect. This is a really easy flower to cut, so do not get scared by the words fussy cutting. And it's the only thing you're cutting by hand. The cards that I made there was a lot of paper cards, and of course those are the ones I found the easiest. So the paper designs are just so pretty that you really don't need to add a lot. Like a lot of these cards, I just cut and stick onto a card at the base, and it's a beautiful card. So if your customers didn't want to fussy cut, they could always just cut out the corner and just do a card base, or use the card with the whole flower image, not cutting by hand. Just cut the paper to size. That's another way. If you're teaching this card in particular and you do have stubborn people that do not fuzzy cut and will not fuzzy cut, just get them to cut the whole page to size. So that way they still obviously are getting to make the card with everybody else. They're just not doing all the hard work. Must have blue or tape. All right. Flower done, and I did what I said not to do. I cut the stem off, but that's okay. It doesn't matter. Now these flower pieces, I'm just gonna tear that off so I don't have that little piece. We're gonna grab our die cuts, the dragonfly die cuts. It's the one with on the ducks. So there are 3 little dragonfly dies. Just want to make sure I don't lose that. There we go. All right, grab your die cutting base. Set that aside. All right, now we're going to strategically position our dragonflies onto the flower. So you're getting pink dragonflies. So just manipulate it to however you think will look best. And once you've got it in a place you like, I like to take some low-tack tape and just hold it into place. Got one, and I normally do the smallest dragonfly last because that's the easiest to find where you can place it. And then the little one, do down there, and a small piece of low-tack tape. Yes, Kimberly. Sorry, that was not intentional. I didn't let you in. I just totally didn't see you were waiting. All right, so die cut that now. Run that through. All right, now pop those out. Carefully and just so you can see what it looks like. Set that aside. And then I'm going to actually put this back in one more time. See what I can get to fit. Do the small dragonfly. I'm just gonna kind of manipulate it and play around. And I will do. All right, take that out. And then we're going to pop these out. Dragonflies are together. Now I'm going to trim this bottom right corner to 4 3/4 by 6 3/4 of an inch. Paper trimmer. So the width will be 4 3/4. 4 3/4 by 6 3/4. Accidentally popped that. Oh, there we go. All right, now this I did 3D. Actually, I'm not going to put that paper trimmer away yet. I had a little bit going off the side. I'm debating the side and the bottom. Because I accidentally cut the stem off, I think I'm going to cut just a little bit of the bottom, but I'll do that after. Cut the side. And now you can actually, I think, get another teeny tiny little dragonfly out of that piece. And just a smidge off the bottom. And then I'm going to 3D that. I'm going to use the 1mm foam pads. We will stick this edge to edge. Flower, and then my flower, or not my flowers, my dragonflies, I actually just glued down because they're too small to 3D. So I'm going to kind of manipulate where I want these to go. Might have that one. Want them kind of going all different directions. Now, if you had a sentiment, obviously, kind of completes the card a bit more. Okay, I think I'm going to do it like this. Right. Some blue. Oh, I thought it was clogged again, but I applied way too much glue. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll just wipe it off with my finger. And then I wipe it off like that. You could use liquid scrap dots in 3D, the little dragonflies, couldn't you? Yes, you could. I always forget about those liquid scrap dots. However, those two would still be a little bit difficult, because it is still such a tiny little thing to get product on, but yeah, it would work. Oh, I should have just used my sticky specs. I grabbed my sticky specs and didn't even use them. This one here. And this one is going to be coming out of the flowers. There we go. All right. I know it's not done yet. Now we need to trim another piece of cardstock. I forgot to trim this one. This will be an 1/8 of an inch under 5, so it is 4 7/8 by 6 7/8. I can measure that one. I feel like I kind of just blacked out for a sec. Nope, we got that right. Okay, glue this down. And you're gonna have a little bit of a lighter green frame. And I'm gonna mount this on a white 5x7 card base. This might be my favorite card. Hard to choose. Wow, Maddie, that actually surprised me. I did not think this would be anybody's favorite, so I'm glad you really like it. I personally really like it because of the pink flower, but yeah, it's a nice, easy. Oops, this is drying quickly. Oh no, I gotta take this off. Get off, get off, get off. There we go. Yeah, it's a super easy card. And then obviously, if your cards are into the smaller sizes, you could 100% do this as an A6 card size. I just wanted to try and give you guys as many options for different card sizes. Like I did a lot of A6 as it was. Okay, I need to get a new piece. There we go. Third time's a charm. Still not perfectly centered, but I have fought with this one enough today. I don't understand. This one's not wanting to go straight, but there we go. This is the fourth card that we've done. I might do, yeah, let's do this one. We'll do this. Yeah. Yeah. I keep saying, yep. We'll do this one next. And then we'll move along to a scrapbook page. Okay, so we are going to need to grab the paper that's got the two little ducks at the bottom. It's at the back of the book. This one. So grab this piece. And then you're going to want the other piece that you've already cut from earlier. And a 5x7 card base. So I'm going to grab a white piece of cardstock to trim that. A mess. It's not a surprise. I don't know where my cardstock went, so I'm going to use 12 by 12. Let's do some cutting. So grab your trimmer. And I'm first just going to start with my 5x7 card base. So 5 by 7 inches. Then this blue piece is going to be cut to 4 and 7/8 of an inch. Not even looking at my instructions, which I should be. Yep, 4 and 7/8 of an inch. By 6 and 7/8 of an inch. So you've got a white frame. And then we're going to cut this into sections. So this one, I'm gonna cut how wide? 2 and 1/8 of an inch. So 2 and 1/8 of an inch. And I'm gonna just cut this top bottom. And then I'm going to cut this off at 4 and 5/8. So 4 and 5/8. Set that one aside, and now flip it over because the bottom part is what we want to keep. So 4 and 5/8. And then we're gonna take this, and this is going to be 2 and 1/8 of an inch wide. And this just cuts that little duck off perfectly. I know it sounds sad, but and then we're going to, this one I just don't want to trim and waste this whole strip. So that's where I only did a section of it. Now I'm just going to flip it so I can cut this to 4 and 5/8 of an inch. There we go. So just the corners cut out. All right, I've got all my little panels now. What I like to do is, since I cut down, I'll take this and just push the paper back up. Grab your stamping platform or your acrylic block if you trust hand stamping. I do not trust myself to stamp by hand, so I'm using a platform. So this first middle piece is where I would add the sentiment, but for this we're going to use the cat tail stamp, and we're going to stamp this in a dark green. And I put it about, I'm not going to cover the dragonfly, but that's good. Up. And I'm going to use, I just swatch 2 colors. That is the rainforest, and that is the spruce. I'm going to do the rainforest. So just add some ink to your stamp. Okay, take that out, and then I'll wipe this down. And then just clean off your stamp. Set that aside and grab your other stamp set now. And we're going to grab this one and add some dragonflies. So I'm just gonna add a small one, I mean the large one, and then the small one, like that. Oops, just moved slightly. Actually, I moved it too much, and now I was like, okay, I don't like that. There we go. Using that same ink, stamp the dragonflies. Emily, do you prefer using glue to using double-sided tape for mounting mats? 100%, because I can never get it straight on first time. I know there's a lot of people who prefer tape over glue. I need the wiggle room. I personally can't get it on and it be good. So yeah, that's why. I need the wiggle room in order to have a perfect card base. And then the last one is the birds. So on mine, I actually cut just a small section off the left side and then it was a bit more to the right, but I didn't want to do that today. So you might notice my card looks slightly shift to the right, but it does not look any different. And then I'm going to have the birds flying in. And then I'm going to pick up my dragonflies that I left on by accident and place them on my stamp set so I don't lose them like I almost just did. Ink your birds. Voila. All your panels are inked. Just give this a good wipe. Now we can set this aside. And I am going to glue the base down first. I probably should stop using the Barely Art glue for my bases because it doesn't give me enough wiggle time, as you've probably noticed today. Dries too quickly for my base, whereas the 450, that's usually my go-to. However, it's sold out right now. Okay, I've got that down. Now I'm going to position my little panels. And I did 3D these, so I'm going to grab I think I'm gonna 2mm foam tab these ones. Because my base I did 1mm. No, I'm sticking to the 1mm. I like the 1mm too much. So let's stick foam pads. I know it's a bit excessive, but I don't like a saggy middle, so it sags in the middle, then it bugs me. Okay. Now I'm going to place these down without adhering them yet, just to see the framing. So when I adhere it, it all looks perfectly even. Okay, that looks good there. I'm gonna start on the right side. Remove the backs of my foam tabs. And stick that. Okay. And then I'll do the left side next. The middle, if it's tight on both sides, that's okay. It's a bit more foolproof this way as opposed to doing this than this. So this I'm going to look at, make sure it's even along the top. The sides are the same width. That looks good. Now the middle piece. Place that centered in the middle. And voila. Again, the sentiments, the cards don't look done until they have the sentiments on it, but I just want to make sure you remember, add your sentiments and it looks completed. So that's that card. I think now we're gonna move along to some scrapbooking, and then we'll see how much time there is, and then maybe hopefully we'll come back to an A6 card. If not, the A6 cards, I promise, are really easy. I'll explain them all as well at the end if I do run out of time, but I want to make sure we get some scrapbook pages done. So I'm just gonna cover my glue quickly. Just kind of reorganize it a little bit. There's no blending inks on this, so I'm just gonna move my inks, create some space for myself. Can't believe how messy this gets. And then I have to clean up for tomorrow. All right. Okay, let's do the 2-page, which is my last set of instructions. So the very last set of instructions, my photo, it didn't print all the way. That's why it looks funny. And sorry, I'm still just tidying up a little bit. It'll go by quicker if I can find things easier. If I'm looking for them, it'll go by too slow. Okay, I need a drink of water. Everyone stay hydrated. And spray water everywhere. All right, let's get started. We're gonna first take out the pieces of paper that we need. So we're going to take out from this paper, this one, you guys can see it. It is written in the instructions what paper it is. Take that out. Then from the other paper pad, we're going to need this one with the little duck at the bottom. And then the first page is it? Oops. There we go. And then I think it's the first page. Yes, the first page. There we go. All right. Now, I forgot to mention this. For this one in particular, I haven't actually added this in the instructions, so when I fix them, I'll add this. You need two 12 by 12s. I chose white just because you will not see it. So if you have a 12 by 12 nearby, grab it. If not, you could always use the back of one of the papers that you don't like as much from the collection. But yeah, I'm using two 12 by 12s. Okay, let's get started. So first what we're going to do is cut every single one of these pages in half at 6 inches. So we're going to cut them all. Except for the 12 bases. These are going to be your, what I call scrapbook base. Don't cut those. You want them the 12 by 12. Right, so 6 inches. So the pieces that you are going to want to not like set aside that you don't need is this piece here that came from the other half. You'll want the piece with the duck. I am going to choose the lighter piece of the two. This one's got less kind of color or texture or anything really on it. It's much muter, softer. Using that half, and then both halves of the first page, which is like that. Keep both. Set that aside. You can add it to your collection with your papers. Then we are going to take, so I am going to grab, you could use the, really, there's a lot of options for this. I'm going to create these little dark strips, and it really does not use much paper at all. When I first made this dark piece of green paper, I had used up completely. This was actually the first paper that I used up completely in the whole thing. So I had to go back and find a different darker color. So from scraps, which they were scraps after I did a bunch of cutting, that's what I did it from. Lots of the pages work. So show you. The top half of this and the side half, which is this paper here, what I'm going to use, that can work. And then there's another one in here, this one, like from here to here, this strip would work great because it's nice and dark. And the instructions, you'll notice that I say a specific page or just any other page that's got dark. And this is basically what I mean. No really defined image that you're cutting off. It's just a dark strip. Okay, we're gonna cut this to, it'll be, I just need to check my instructions because I can't remember. I also need to grab the trick. Okay, so 12 inches, which it already is, by 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to 1/4 of an inch. I already know it's 12 inches, 1/4, and 1/4. So 3 of these. And then your last one, we're actually going to cut this one in half. So it is 1/8 of an inch.
Come on, just do it.
So you can either manipulate it perfectly inside, which it's moving too much. So I'm just going to take a small piece of tape and just tape it. It's moving too much. When I first did it, I got it like really easily. Small tape. Oh my gosh, and it moved. Okay, I don't know why. Of course, now this is taking too long. Don't move. Actually, I'm just gonna hold it so it can't move. And there we go. I'm just gonna do it. Tape there. All right. It's not perfectly in half, but it's in half enough. Take those out. I'm just gonna take the tape off the end. Now set those aside. Then we're going to need another piece here from this paper pad. It'll be this paper here. So pop this one out. There we go. And this is going to be how many inches? 1 3/4 of an inch. And let's set that aside. All right. Now I think we are going to start, maybe we'll do the stamping now just because then we can do the piecing together after. I'm gonna grab both of my stamping sets here. So I'm going to be using a combination of this grass stamp, the duck stamp with the 3 ducks, and the 2 different sizes of dragonflies. So I created this little strip to go along the bottom. And I'm going to do that again. So I just took stamping blocks. And I'm going to start with the grass. I don't know why I grabbed that one. Oh yeah, because I used the grass one off. Sorry. And rainforest for my ink. And I'm going to stamp, grab a baby wipe, wipe that off. Then with on the other end, this is just going to make my life a little bit easier. I'll put dragonfly. Do large dragonfly. Do small dragonfly. I can grab that grass again. And I kind of position it, some of them higher and some of them lower, so it looks slightly different. Then I'll take the 3 little ducks, ink that. And then I'm going to just clean that off so I don't accidentally get ink on anything. Go back in with the grass. So I add the grass between either the dragonflies or the ducks. And go in and just stamp dragonfly. Go in here. And then switch it up. Instead of doing both dragonflies, just do 1 dragonfly and then add your grass piece again. And little dragonfly. And big dragonfly. And then my grass. All right. Now I'm just going to clean everything up. Now I am going to stick my 2 dragonflies on 1 block because I am going to use them again. I'm not going to use these little ducks though, so I can put those away. Then I'll just set that aside. All right, now let's do some piecing together. So take one of your 12 by 12 bases. And take your light green half and the left half of the image. So the half that has most of the not cattails, lily pads on it. And then we're going to glue these down. So on the left half, make sure no white is showing. least try. Not everybody can be perfect like me right now. Good enough. Then the right side. And just try and make it go over top of the base perfectly. And then where the two meet in the middle, you're going to use one of the thicker strips, not the one you cut in half. This should be a 1/4 of an inch. And glue that down the center. It's nice and tight. Pressure on that to make sure the glue is adhered well. And then basically we're going to repeat this on the other page. But I'm going to tell you to do this page first because I don't want you to put it on the right side. So do the other half of your image and glue it on the left side. Got that one pretty well perfect this time. And then this one is going to go on the right half. I'm going to hide this little seam again with the same thick strip. Make sure it's nice and flat. The glue is nice and adhered. All right, so we've got our 2 half pages that connect like so. Now we're going to decorate the left side. So we're actually going to set that aside for a second and take those 2 little tiny strips that we cut in half. So it's 1/8 of an inch, and we're going to create like a little fake border. Honestly, I should have just tape might have been easier, but that's okay. So just at the top. And then along the side, or not, sorry, the side, the bottom. The other half will go on the bottom. Thanks, Sam. I'm glad you're loving it. Accidentally got glue. Or I didn't want it, but that's okay. All right, so now we've got a little framed strip. So this is going to go about an inch from the bottom. So I'm just going to grab my ruler and just place it in the middle at an inch, just for an idea. And then I'm going to glue this down. Obviously, it doesn't have to be an inch. Sorry, just want to have a question?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Did you have a question?
Caramel, please.
Sorry?
No.
No questions? Did you want me to mute you? All right, I'm just gonna mute you. I'm not sure if you want it to be. Okay. All right, now we will move along to the other page. Which actually, I can't do anything yet. So we actually are supposed to, now we need to cut all these little frames. So the white is the size that I envision the picture to be. So we're not going to cut all the white too. We're just going to cut the frames that are behind the white there. So let's do that. That's probably going to take a while. So let's try and do this quickly. So I know 3 of them. Oh no, I've got all of the sizes written down. We'll just follow off there. Right, so grab some white cardstock. I'm going to use my 12 by 12 again. Paper trimmer. I keep losing that. All right, so I need 3 pieces that are 4 1/8 of an inch. I'm going to cover this actually quickly. So 4 1/8 of an inch. 4 1/8 of an inch. And then 4 1/8 of an inch. Right, now these are all going to be 6 1/8 of an inch. I don't think this is going to cut through all, but we'll try. Oh, there we go. Okay, so we've got our 3 pieces to mount a 4 by 6 photo. Then we need 2 pieces that are 4 1/8 by 3 1/8. So that's actually just a piece cut in half of the size we just did. So I'm gonna trim this to 4 1/8. 4 1/8 by 6 1/8. And then I'm going to cut that in half at 3 1/16 of an inch, I think. No. 3 1/8 of an inch. Wait, how does that make sense? Oh, I know why now. Okay. So yeah, there I am going to have to cut 2 pieces. I didn't think about it. So 3 1/8 of an inch. Because that is, yeah, too small. So set that aside, 4 1/8 by 3 1/8. And then 2 more pieces. So 1 piece to 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. So a square. 4 1/8 by 4 1/8. And last one is 4 5/8 of an inch by 2 5/8 of an inch. I don't know if I've got a piece that wide. Nope. Oh, actually, yes, I do. 4 5/8. 5/8, 2 5/8. Okay, I think that's all the pieces. Right, now I'm just gonna set my scraps aside. And we are going to ink all of these. So you're just gonna need to ink the edges because that is all that's gonna be seen. It's just a teeny tiny amount. So a quick way you can do this instead of inking with a brush is doing it like so. You're just gonna want to be careful because there's a lot of ink on that. I don't want everything to get inked. Quicker than blending. Actually, I'm just gonna wipe up the bottom. Okay. I guess slow and steady is the trick with this because it's going a lot better slow and steady. Right, I think that's all the pieces. Okay, now I'm just going to wipe my fingers because I'm afraid I've got ink on it, everything. All right, so this first page is going to be one of the 5x7s, and that's going to go about here. And then I also told you guys to die cut, which is one thing I did prep. However, I didn't prep them all. I only did 4 of the green. So I've got some greens, and I'm going to grab the one that's arching to the left, and I'm just going to pop out the pieces that didn't come out already. Right. And I'm going to use sticky specs for this because this is going to be a lot easier. I'm not actually going to adhere that down yet. Place in. I'm just going to have the bottom sticking out a bit because the bottom's going to get tucked under and it'll be a lot easier to peel off. You'll see here in a sec. I just grab the bottom. And I'm going to position this where I want it. And it's going to go here, stick that down. Wipe off any sticky specks on my finger. And then this will go over top. So I'm just gonna glue that down now. Now for your samples, you guys might want to cut some white paper, 1/8 of an inch smaller than every measurement I just gave you, so you can have the white frame. It looks a little bit nicer. I'll show you back on mine. So just by adding the white frame, it looks a little bit cleaner. So I just didn't add that on the instructions because usually you'd be adding a photo instead of the white, but it's just 1/8 of an inch larger. Then I have these two little rectangle pieces that will go here. And if you'll notice that they're going to go slightly above and below, just slightly above and below this frame here. Just glue that down. And then I'm going to try and get the same space that there is from here to here, down here. Eyeballing. And then make sure that these are straight. And that this space between is centered. It's not lopsided. All right, so this is the first page here. You can add sentiment down here. Then the next page, I've added my 4x6 here and here. So I'm just going to position that. 2 4x6s. I'd say this is about 1/2 of an inch from the bottom and from the top, and it just slightly overlaps the middle strip. And then this one, going to be about 1/2 of an inch. All right, now I'm not going to adhere the next one, but I'm going to place it where it's going to go, and I'm going to try and have equal distance. It's going to be straight along the bottom. I'm going to try and have equal distance from here to here. So I'm just going to position that. Then I'm going to take a flourish. I used 2 on this one, so I think I might use 2 again. Pop out the pieces that hadn't fallen out from the die cut. And that's going to come about there. So I'm actually just going to tear off the bottom and stick it like so. And then the other one's going to come from bottom. I don't need all that extra bits. So I'm going to sticky speck that. Not move it too much, try and keep that in place. I accidentally added it. I didn't mean to do that. There we go. Stick the bottom out slightly. It'll make your life a little bit easier. Peel that. So that's gonna go like so. And just put it back to where it's gonna get glued down. Your other flourish, which I should move, whatever, stuck it down. It's going there. Carefully, I'm gonna peel this because I didn't glue this, or not glue it, place it the way I'd like. There we go. And then that's gonna come like so. All right, now we're gonna glue this down, but I'm gonna quickly rub my fingers together and get all that sticky speck off. Again, I'm just gonna glue that equal distance. So it all looks like symmetrical. And even, parallel, I guess was the word I was trying to use, parallel. Right, and then I've got two more. Oh no, I've got one piece here. I guess I didn't write the measurement down for the last strip. I'll have to do that now, and then we'll add it to the instructions. Let's glue this piece. Same thing, equal distance from here and here. Okay, now we're going to figure out what size this is. This is 1, 2, 3, an inch and 3/16 wide. So, write that down. By, and then the little, this width is the same one. That was 4 and 5/8 of an inch. Okay, so this strip that we're going to add down here, I'll give you the measurements again. I will add it. I've got all my adjustments written on my sheet here, so I can add it on Wednesday and then update the instructions. So this is how wide? 4 and 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think that's already cut to size. Perfect. And the width is going to be 1 and 3/16. Right. Okay, now I'm just going to add that ink again. And then I'm just going to add that to the bottom section here. I can pick it up. All right, so we've got that. Now what I did add were those stamps again. So the dragonfly and the butterfly. I'm just gonna grab the large dragonfly, sorry, that dark green ink that I used before, and I'm gonna stamp these in the right corner here. There we go. I just find that it ties in the stamped images along the bottom strip. All right, so now we've got the joining scrapbook layout from left to right. All right, I'm just going to cover this. Let's do, got about an hour. Let's do some smaller card sizes. We haven't done any A6 yet, so let's see. I'm just going through my instructions to see what ones. That one. Okay, we'll do maybe these. And these were super easy. Okay, those I think we can get done maybe in like 45 minutes, hopefully less. Let's do these two. I was not fond of this one, but I'm gonna do it because some of you guys really liked it, so I'm doing it. Can I just say how much I appreciate this? I know the amount of work that goes into creating and teaching the classes. Thank you so much, Maddie. It was, you are right. It was a lot of planning, but we like doing this for you. It's not just me. It was me, Dennis, Christine, and Jenny, who have all put a lot of work into this for you all, but I'm glad you're enjoying it, Maddie. We like to help you guys when we can, as much as we can, especially um, yeah, the wholesale. We love our wholesalers. Okay. So let's grab what we need. We need an A6 card base, which I've got. You guys should have some. Okay, let's grab our paper. We're going to grab I think it's the second page in here. Well, it's the first one now because we've already used up the first pages. Take that out. And then from your other paper pad, you're going to use, I think this isn't the one I use, but it might work. No. The backgrounds paper pad. We're going to grab I think it was it this blue? I don't remember, one sec. Was it this blue? It was this blue. Okay, I used this one. And there should be a really soft one. This one. All right, so pop those 3 pieces of cardstock or paper out. And do some trimming. Cover my glue. Okay. So we're going to trim this and we're going to focus on the bottom corner here. We want to make sure that this is what we're keeping in. So along here, I'm going to trim this to 3 15/16 of an inch. So 3 15/16 of an inch. So basically just 1/16 under 4. And then the width is going to be 5 5/8. So 5. Now I'm going to actually have to trim these down slightly because these aren't going to fit in my die cutting machine. So we're going to die cut the frame, but it's not going to be any larger than, I'm going to cut it to 4 1/8 of an inch wide. And then same with this, 4 1/8 of an inch. You can set those other pieces aside. All you need are these 2 strips and that. Grab your frame die, this die, and your die cutting base plate. And we're going to die cut the just thinking the outer frame first. So I'm actually not going to use that piece. I need this piece. Okay, so this piece, and I'm going to make sure that the flower is at the bottom because it's going to get cut off. So I'm just going to line this up and tape it into place. So I've just lined it right up to the edge there. Then I'm going to run this through my die cutting machine. Got tape on my fingers that for some reason it's not coming off. Gosh, I'm just hitting everything over here right now. Okay, so I'm gonna pop that, and then this should come out. I'm just gonna grab my poker tool. Pull this out. I totally messed up and forgot didn't totally mess up. I added die cut and bond tape behind, and it made my life so much easier. I can just use sticky specs, thankfully. I totally forgot those are also here. But die cut and bond tape behind this piece of paper, and it will make your life easier. Anne just asked what the retail price for the Pondering Dreams kit is. So the retail price of like the value is over $300 Canadian, but the price of the kit is double what you guys paid, or I think you guys can set any pricing really. But yeah, the value is 350, but that's not the price that your customers would pay, obviously. That's just the value of it, and it's yeah, very good price. Okay, set that aside. Now, this piece, I'm actually not going to cut with this, I don't think. I think I'm just going to use the inside layer, slightly changing this to how I did it originally. And I'm going to just find where this actually is supposed to go. Okay, it fits in like so. I'm going to remove this tape because it's going to be annoying. There we go. Everything's sticking to me. Okay, now this is going to be so. I'm just using this as a guide to where my die should go. And there's good. So I've placed it in the same place basically that this die I just die cut was, and then I've placed my insert, my middle piece inside, so that way I know where it goes, and I'm gonna tape just the middle piece in because that's all I'm die cutting. That middle piece, hopefully I've got enough tape. I'm gonna add a second one. Move. And now I'm going to take this outer layer off because I do not want that to die cut, and then run this through my machine. I'm doing it this way to conserve and save paper. However, you don't have to. All right, the frame is going to go over top. What I'm going to quickly do is I have a little bit of a foam mat, and some of these pieces, nah, I don't care. I'm going to leave them in. I can pop them out later with a picky tool. I'm going to grab my sticky specs. Loads. If you don't know what sticky specs are, they are these teeny tiny little micro adhesive dots. And they make adhering little intricate pieces like this. So much easier. Oh, I'm so glad I didn't spend time popping those little holes out because it's sticking to the sticky speck. You just have to be careful and slow when peeling this because sometimes it likes to really stick, and if you've got little pieces like curving, it'll tear a bit. Right, now that's got adhesive on it. I'm just going to add that in place. It's not the most centered, but another pro thing about sticky specs is you can still manipulate it a bit. Yep. Okay, take two. Nope, nope. Okay, that should be more centered and straight, hopefully. Right. Now, again, take that sticky speck off just by doing the same thing I do with glue. Okay, now I'm going to have to trim this. So this was how wide? Can't remember. I'm just gonna grab my paper trimmer. And my pieces of paper that I cut out. So this frame is going to go only on here. It is not going to go on and cover the white. I want a white frame. So I'm going to cut all of that blue that you see, the dark blue, off, and I'm going to have just the light blue showing. So I can use paper trimmer or scissors. Just, oh, I guess I should do this on camera. I'm just trying to manipulate my thing in here so it'll take off the dark blue. Up, now I gotta do the side. And then the left side. There's still a bit of blue on that. I don't think that trimmer's gonna work. Whatever, that's good enough. Okay, now I'm going to just glue that over top. And anything hanging off the bottom, I'll just cut afterwards. Put the pin in it, but it's still clogged. There we go. That should work. Yep, there we go. Nope, my glue's getting tired, just like me. Come on, we've got an hour to go. There we go. And then you just glue it down. Now you'll notice it'll go over the edge a little bit. I might trim that later. We'll see what it looks like on the base. It might be okay. And then with the paper trimmer, just trim off the bottom. I'm actually gonna use a guillotine because easier to line it up. Yes, it's off. I'm actually gonna trim them again just because my card's not straight because of the way I cut it. Second, just trying to figure it out. Just trying to straighten my card out. There we go. Okay, now this one, I'm pretty sure I had to make a different size because the frame. So I said mount it onto an A6 hard base. I'm gonna have to change this instruction too, because this is not gonna work on an A6. Well, it does, but the frame's too big, the white frame. So we're gonna make it a bit smaller. So this is going to be, oh, it should be 4 and an 8 or a 16th. 4 and a 16th by 16th by 5 and 7/8. So 5 and 7/8 by 4 and 16th. What did I just say that measurement was? 5 and 7/8. That's what that should be. 5 and 7/8 is my base. 5 and 7/8 by 4 and 1/16. You know, this should be right. Please tell me it's right. That looks right to me. Glue that down. And then, oops, this is totally not straight again. Oh, it's drying. It's a crooked card. Okay, just pretend that that glued on straight. Now we're going to stamp. So we're going to take those dragonfly stamps again, and I'm going to do it in black this time. So I'm going to grab some black ink and do small one and then large one. And then obviously, again, you're going to want to add a sentiment. It's a card. So just keep that in mind. It doesn't look finished, partly because there's no sentiment. And then we'll add the ducks. 3 little ducks at the bottom. Again, also doing that in black. Oops. Ooh. Well, I've added some grunge. It's okay. This card was crooked, so it was saying, please just be done with me. I'm not the best you've done, Emily, but that's okay. And then again, your sentiment, which I will grab the finished card, find it. This one here. Your sentiment will change it. Right. Now, I think we are going to, let's do more cards. Do you guys want to do more cards or a scrapbook layout? I feel like we've only got time for one or the other. Although I technically could go until 5. Scrapbook layout and okay, so we have both. Okay, so I'm gonna do both then. I'm gonna stay later. Okay, we're gonna do the scrapbook layout first. We'll switch back to that, and then we'll do the cards. I'm going to first quickly just describe this layout in particular because I'm not going to do it. I'll do the other one. Anne says now go for cards. Cards. Okay, fine. I'll describe these layouts and then we'll do the cards. This one, all I did was cut paper and just stick it on. It really, there's no rhyme or reason to it. I do have the instructions, which tells you the layout of it and the sizing of everything in the mats. And then all I did was using the Hunky Dory banner punch. I love that thing. It just created the little like notch, but you could also just do that with scissors too. And I just added those as little banners. And then my 4x6 cards would go there. This is another easy one. Was my first one. I actually don't love this one, and it's because the colors I used. So if you're going to do this one, use darker. I think in the instructions I did say use darker greens. The ones I used just blend in way too much. So I just added a bunch of die cuts around the flourish from the paper. I would recommend, again, this dark green paper that we cut from earlier. Use scraps 100%. This is a great one to use scraps on too, because you're not getting the full thing, you're just getting little bits and pieces of it. And then I just added some sayings from 3/4. But yes, this one, it's an easy one too. Okay, let's do cards. I'm gonna try and get a bunch done with you all. These are easy cards. I'm not gonna do that one, I don't think. So let's do that one and that one. Or they're the same cutting basically, so we'll kind of do these at the same time. Plus, it's like the same paper almost. So we're gonna grab my instructions for that card. Sure, on the same page. I kind of did that intentionally. I'm gonna wipe up that black that I just stuck my hand in. Okay, now we're gonna grab the papers. I am making a mess. Tomorrow is not gonna be, it's gonna be messy. So grab, I should have. I can't remember if we did this, cut this together or not. Kind of go through all my scraps now. Okay. That piece. And I'm gonna grab the other one because I know I'm gonna need two. Take that dark green out. And then we're going to pop out the ducks here. So this one with the ducks, and then there is one with a duck in the top right corner right there. Pop that one out too. So this is going to be my white base and my black base. So I know that we need two bases, or I'll just do the black and the white base first, actually, before I get myself confused. So using black paper, I'm going to trim this to 4 and an 1/8, or not 8, sorry, 4 and a 16th of an inch. 4 and a 16th. 5 and 3/4 of an inch. That's gonna be my base. And then the other piece is 3 and 1/16 of an inch. So 3 and 1/16 of an inch by 4 and 3/4. So 4 and 3/4 of an inch. So those are my base layers. Now from the white. The white is 5 and 3/4 of an inch. So 5 and 3/4 by 4 and sorry, I'm confused. This measurement doesn't seem right. 5 and 3/4 of an inch. Sorry, I'm getting confused. I'm pretty sure I was supposed to have that at 6 3/4 of an inch. Because that doesn't make any sense. Okay, I messed that up. Okay, so this is supposed to be 6 and but I did it 2 inches. Okay, I'm just gonna write this. Yes, the correct instructions will be posted. Okay, so this is going to be, I think it should be 2 inches, no? Okay, I'm pretty sure it's supposed to be 7. So I'm gonna do that. So I'm gonna do 7 3/4 of an inch by 4 1/16 of an inch. And then score at 2 inches. Yeah, that seems right. Okay, yeah, that's right. Yeah, so I forgot to add 2 inches. So yeah, 7 3/4 of an inch by 4 1/16 of an inch. It's supposed to be 7 there, but I will again. Those will be corrected and posted. Okay, now we're gonna need to trim another piece to 3 1/16 of an inch by 3 1/16, 4 3/4. No. Yeah, 4 3/4 of an inch. And then that should be, that's right. Okay. We've got our base pieces now, our white and our black. Now we're going to trim the dark green. So this is going to be 3 15 sixteenths of an inch. So 3 and then 15 sixteenths by 5 5/8 of an inch. 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 5/8 of an inch. I thought I had that wrong, but no, I think that's right. Yeah. So do that twice. So I'll cut another one to the same size. I just need to grab another piece. So this should be 3 inches and then 15 sixteenths. And then again, it is 5 5/8. So 5 5/8. All right, that's this one. And then I need to trim one more piece for this top panel here. So I'll take one of my scrap pieces. Let's do that one. And this is going to be, I believe the width is already right. Yeah, the width. So I just need to cut its height, and its height is going to be 1 7/8 of an inch. So 1 7/8. All right, and I can set aside those pieces. Now grab the one with the duck, and we're going to cut out just this section here. And the height is going to be it'll be 250. No, the height is 4 inches and 5/8. So 4 5/8. 1, 4 5/8 is your height. And then the width, I'm going to just take a little bit off the back of the duck here. Not its body, but just that little section, because I want to focus more on the duck here. Otherwise, the beak would get cut off. And then this is going to be how wide? Sorry, I'm just looking at my instructions. 2 and 15/16 of an inch. So 2 15/16 of an inch. And we have that duck. Thankfully, he didn't get cut off. Okay, now set that aside. We'll go with the black card. And then this one, we're going to focus on the bottom. And this width, I believe, is the same. And it is going to be 2 15/16 of an inch. So 2 15/16. And the duck's going to get cut off of it. So what I'm going to do is cut the bottom here. And I'm going to cut some of the mushrooms off here. So then I've got more of the bird. And now this is going to be cut to 2 15/16. That. Again, I don't like to cut it all. This is going to be 4 5/8. All right, there, we've got our ducks now. Let's start piecing these cards together. I'm first going to start with the black base because this one is the easiest. So I'm just going to glue my pieces down, the layering. Then I'm going to glue the duck over top. I just like to double check that before I glue it, it's gonna size right because you guys have seen by now. I don't always measure correctly. Whoops. So it's just a good, safe trick to make sure if you're like me and you don't measure correctly or you're slightly dyslexic, that if you check it before you glue it, you will love yourself more. And then this I actually 3D'd with the, I think 2-inch, or not 2-inch, sorry, 2 millimeters. 2-inch would be thick. I'm gonna grab my thicker foam pads and pop this up. Dennis has just let me know that the paper pads are up. Is it just the Pondering Dreams that they can look up and it'll come?
Yeah, so it's called Ponder Dreams or Pond Dreams Pad, PAP Pad. But Corey's got them up for free.
Okay. Yeah, you should be able to find them now on the website. Okay, so again, without a sentiment, it looks undone. But there is another card. Then this one we can piece together now. So I'm going to grab all my little pieces and card base, which I don't know where that went to. There it is. And make sure that that is cut correctly. It is. Now I do have a sanding block that I'm gonna have to use just because my trimmer, I didn't apply any pressure. And same thing with this, if you have a sentiment, it's gonna look way more done. Thank you, Maddie. And then this is gonna go inside. I just realized I forgot to cut a piece to go inside, but that's okay, we can do that. This one, it's not cut right for some reason. I need to take an eighth of an inch off. Not eighth, a 16th. Right? Is that- Yeah, I just needed to take a 16th off because the fold line at the top, it was too tight. Find that once I've tried to stick barely art glue down once, and if I try and stick it over a second time, it just clings right to it. Okay. Now we're gonna add this piece on top. And then this I 3D foam padded. So I'm gonna grab I used the thick ones, I'll do it again. So what I did was I used this as a bit of a guide, and I know that if I add foam pads here, I'll be fine. It's not going to be seen. Then just center that. Now, in the instructions, I told you, which I forgot to do, to cut a piece for the inside. I think we should do that now. So we're going to grab a piece of white cardstock and trim this to 3 1/16. So 3, not 1/16. Scratch that. Yeah, it is 1/16. Never mind. 3 1/16 by 4 3/4. No. Yeah, 4 3/4. Right. It just looks so small. That is right. Sorry. I'm second guessing myself now. Okay. And then from this same paper that we used before, I'm going to use this section here where it's soft. You can write on it still. I'm going to trim. I need to get a bigger trimmer. This, oopsies. I actually think this is the right width. I should just do the right measurement. Okay. Sorry, I'm just trying to find the measurement for this. Okay, let's do the width, which is 2 15/16 of an inch. So 2 15/16 by 4 5/8 of an inch. So 4 5/8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, where did my card go? There we go. All right, then we can glue that in. Create a little bit of a white border. And then this is going to get glued inside. Now what I'm actually going to do is just position it to fit behind like this. And then I'm going to close it. So that way it's centered. And voila. Again, the sentiment makes a huge difference. I'm going to say it on every card because it truly does. So those are those two cards. Let's do the last two because these ones are really easy and I know we can get this done quickly. And I feel like the more cards you guys have, the more you guys can show your customers. So I'm going to do that. So 2 A6 card bases, which I have. And then you're going to want to grab the piece of cardstock that has, I think it's the last page here. Yeah, the very last page of your pattern book. I think I might go until 5, you guys, just because I want you guys to have as many done samples. And I have a feeling if I leave, you guys are probably going to leave too. And then you guys have less samples to show. So I'm going to stay a bit later. So I'm going to cut this. I'm going to cut the side of the paper here with the dragonfly on it to 3 13/16 of an inch. So 3 13/16 of an inch. 13/16 of an inch. And I'm just going to cut straight top to bottom. This one. And then this is going to be 5.5. Now this, I'm actually going to trim a little bit off the bottom because I don't want the dragonfly to be too high up. So I'm going to trim about, let's take an inch off and see. I'm going to do 1.5 inches. Taking 1.5 inches off. And now I'm going to trim it to 5.5 inches. Oh no, I messed up. I think, hold on. Maybe not. No, I think I'm okay, sorry. Where is my legend? I need to find this. Okay. A12. No, I'm good. I scared myself. 5.5 is right. I do that a lot. Question for store owners. Do you buy your cart bases? I also find, Alana, that you waste a lot of paper, or I guess this is for Kim. Kim, that if you are creating your own card bases, you have a lot more paper waste. So it's double-edged sword. Okay. Now I'm gonna cut another one to this size before I get too far. I'm going to trim slightly off the right side here because I want the middle of the flower to be the main focus. So I'm taking that was about 1 inch off. And then this width is going to be 3 13/16. I don't know how you say that properly. 3 13/16 of an inch. Well, 3 and 13. I think maybe 3 and 13/16 of an inch. Is that how it's supposed to be said? And then the height is 5.5. All right, so we've got basically the 2 images that we're using for our card base. Now we need the mounting piece. So I'm going to take from these. dark green. This is going to be, I might cut it sideways because no one's gonna know. This is 3/15/16 of an inch. So 3/15/16 of an inch by 5 5/8 of an inch. And this will be the background for this piece. And then going back to this piece of cardstock that we used earlier. Hunky Dory, I normally use the Hunky Dory card bases because they've got so many different sizes and styles, and they also come with envelopes. Hunky Dories are go-to, just so you know here, for the card bases. All right. This base is going to be the same size I just did. So 3/15, so 3 and 15/16 of an inch. 3 and 15/16 of an inch by 5 and 5/8 of an inch. And then we've got that background, which I didn't cut right. What did I do wrong? 3/15/16 of an inch. 3/15/16. Did I not cut that right? That should be right. No, I didn't cut that one right. That's why. Silly me. All right, there we go. And then what I did was from scraps, I'm just going to cut 1 inch wide. Now I don't have the Hunky Dory punch here, so and then I don't need it that wide, but I'm going to just eyeball cutting this in the middle. Good enough for an eyeball. And then just trim that. And that is where the sentiment would go. I did too much. Trim more. Okay, let's piece this together now. So my flower is going on my blue base. And then after you've got that, you can put it on your white base, red base. Get it centered. There we go. And then I used, I think was it? No, I think I taped it down. Or not taped, glued it. You could foam pad it. Let's foam pad it. I'm gonna do the 2 mm deep foam pads. And I'm just gonna add these little ones into the corners. Gosh, I can't get that off. There we go. I had to cut my nails for pottery and now I'm regretting it. All right, stick that down. All right, so there's that card again. I'm gonna hear it again. The sentiment. Pop a sentiment on, you've got a completed card. Now the next one with the dragonflies. or dragonfly, sorry. Then onto a card base. Center that. Go, I'm getting a bit better at it. All right, I've got these two cards done now, and yeah, your sentiments are going to make a huge difference. Okay. I do have time. Let's do a scrapbook because the only cards that we didn't get done are, I want to do that scrapbook layout because it's a bit more complicated. I think how many cards did we not get done? One? I think we just skipped one card. Yeah, I think it's this card here, which is really easy. I can explain that as well, but we're gonna do the scrapbook layout. We've got a lot done. So grab the paper that's got these lily pad flowers. I forget what they're called. Someone will know. The flowers from the lily pads. Does anyone remember the name? That'll be the base. And then from your patterned paper, which you've already cut this, I think we can reuse what we cut earlier. Just gotta find it. Stash. Oh, I have so much paper, but not the one I'm looking for. Maybe we used it already. I'm just gonna assume we used it, which I don't remember using, but that's okay. Probably gonna find it. There it is. That paper. Oh, that's not even the same one. Never mind. Scrap that. I thought it was. It looked the same in the picture, but it's not. So it's this one here. This is the one that you're gonna want to grab. And there's still so much paper left. You guys could create even more cards than the ones that I've done because I still have paper from my ones I was working with. They are water lilies. Thank you, Elena and Maddie. Okay, I'm going to do a giveaway because people I can tell are starting to leave a bit. I'm gonna do one giveaway now and then one for the very end for everyone who stays with me. So I'm gonna give away one of each of the two paper pads, like one of this and one of this. So when you guys teach your customers, you've got a paper pad. So for this, I'm gonna do just whoever is on. Actually, no, I'll do that at the end. I'll ask a question. Whoever can give me no, that's an easy question. If anyone knows what my favorite card is, whoever can describe that first. Oh, that's a tough one. It's my favorite color. My favorite card. You guys are all saying my color. Everybody knows it's pink. Yes, pink's my favorite color, but my favorite card that I did from this collection. Whoever can describe it. No, no one's gotten it yet. It's not the one, it's not the, no, no one's gotten it. All right, we'll see who gets it. No, no one's gotten my favorite one. I don't hear the question. The question, the three-part one, the three-panel one, Christy, I think you've got it. Yes, Christy, you got it. So Christy guessed was an early one we did because I really liked it. This one, the three-panel one. So congrats, Christy. The paper will be sent with your next order. All right, good job. Okay, back we go. So this is the base. So I'm going to set this aside because we're just adding things on top. We're not necessarily inking or anything on here. So I'm setting that. We're going to trim this first. So, and we might as well trim our other mounts. You're going to want some white cardstock and that pattern cardstock. So we're going to cut 2 pieces of white cardstock to 4 inches or 4 1/4 of an inch. So 4 1/4 of an inch. By 4 1/4, 6 1/4. I hope that's 6 1/4. And then where is my I have to do a second one, 4 1/4. 6 1/4. Right, then this we're going to cut to 4 1/8 side, so 4 1/8 of an inch by 6 1/8 of an inch. And same thing. 4 1/8 by 6 1/8. Now we're just going to mount this. For a second, I thought I was gluing on white cardstock only. I'm like, what am I doing? Right. I'm just going to create some white frames. So on the image, they'll have a bit of this blue frame popping through and then the white as well. Okay, now this part. I didn't finish my die cuts, and I also ended up using die cuts that I didn't anticipate. So we're gonna die cut. So I'm gonna use the leftover piece from this, which I'm actually gonna save and look for that'll be a good piece because it's a scrap. It's too small. Like this, I've already die cut a few times. I've got room for a little bit of a die cut. I'm gonna try and not waste or create waste. I'm gonna try and use up any little bits and pieces that I can't use for a card frame. So I'm going to grab my die cutting machine and my cutting plates. And then my flourish dies, which are somewhere in my mess. Here it is. I'm just going to try and get all the whoops paper. I hope you guys saw that. That was an accident. There, I'm just getting the paper out of the grooves as much as I can at least. All right, so I don't necessarily need the whole die cut on there because I'm not probably gonna use the whole thing, so I might try and see if I can get 2 on here. I think I can make that work. And I can make that work. So I'm just going to add a little bit of tape. Because these are going to get tucked under photo frames, so it's not a big deal. I'm just making sure I'm using as much of the paper as I can. And I'm going to die cut that so I have at least probably, we'll see. Pop these out. I feel like I've been so quiet today. It's been a bit weird. I'm used to talking a lot. Was kicked off Zoom. I'm back. I'm glad you're back, Anne. You didn't miss much. Okay, so I've got 3. I think I'm gonna do at least 2 more. And actually, maybe do more than 2. Okay, now for this, I'm gonna pop these out again. What I do is I just bang it. When I'm trying to quickly get at least some chunks out. For these, I 100% want everything kept on. I don't want anything off the page. So just manipulating it so I can try and use it again. Die cut that. This will be the last project I do, just for you guys who are probably waiting to leave. Almost done. Okay. And then I think I will do one more. Just like the top. Get as much on as I can. Do that. And then hopefully that's enough. Okay. Pop this out. Since I haven't popped the layers out, some of these are still stuck in. It's good enough. Okay, our base here. So I'm going to position these where I want them. It'll be like that. And then I'm going to piece these around. I know probably want at least 1 or 2 pieces up here. There. This would come up here. This can go here. And this can go here. Okay. I think that's good. So let's now start piecing it together. Grab my sticky specs. And just carefully adding some adhesive. Again, you don't need to stick the right to the edge. Carefully peel it so you don't rip it. And then just place it. Now I am purposefully making some pieces hang off the edge. I will just go in and cut that after. Gonna glue this down since I've got both those pieces adhered already. Add my layers. I'd say it's about an inch from the bottom and the side that I'm gluing it down from. Now we'll do this one. That I think I just had on the side like so. Well, after this, I'm going to do some pottery. And I'm going to go create I'm going to go attempt to create a bonsai tree planter for guys from Studio Light. He's going to NAMTA and he said he needed a bonsai tree planter. So I'm going to attempt that tonight. And then tomorrow we've got Craft X. I'm up bright and early for that. Lots of exciting things happening. And then if you guys didn't see, on Wednesday, Dennis, Jenny, and Christine have all made a calendar available so you can book an appointment with them to meet on Zoom. Got any questions really about anything, not necessarily just Craft X, about your ordering, you can chat with them. If you guys ever do have any product specific, I never list myself up for those meetings. One, because I'm usually busy, and two, because I don't actually know how to answer a lot of the questions that get asked, like with ordering and all of that. But if there's any product or any other questions that you think I can answer that you want to talk to me about, you can always just ask and we can set up a meeting, the two of us. Okay, now I just gotta glue this down. Wow, we did a lot more than I honestly thought I was gonna get done. And then I am just gonna go in with an X-Acto knife, craft knife. I just find it easier. And just trim that off. Okay, maybe that wasn't easier. Yeah, use scissors. Just awkward. There we go. All right. So I've got that scrapbook page. Again, if you add a few little sentiments onto it, or really any other decorative elements too, it just spruces it up a bit. I will just quickly show off the projects that we did again. So actually, I probably could give a card away. Maybe I'll give a card away. All right. So this is one of the cards we did. Again, your sentiments are make a huge difference. We've got this one. Oh, the scrapbook layout that connects. Just too big for my screen. The photo is much easier to see. This is the completed one. Then we did actually today's card, I would say turned out better than my first one, which doesn't normally happen. It usually is the opposite. My first one's always my best, but this one I do like more. And our first one that we did today. And then we've got these ones, the inking. And I think that's everything. I don't know if I'm missing any. This is really the only card. I think this is the only card we didn't get done. And all it is either you can stamp, stencil, or use die cuts to add these decorative elements. That's all I did was add the dragonflies and the birds and mount it. All right. Now let's do a giveaway for everybody who has stayed to the very end. I'm going to give away 2 of the paper pads again, like I did earlier. So like one of each of these papers. So, and then I'm gonna give a card away, I think, or scrapbook layout. Let's do let's do a card. Do this card that I didn't make, maybe. And I'll give you my first scrapbook layout. Wow, now I'm being generous. Okay, yeah, let's do that. So you'll get these 2, and then obviously, like I just said, the 2 paper pads as well. So this is going to go to, I'm not gonna ask a question for this because you guys have stayed on. So I'm gonna just look away and close my eyes. I'm doing a giveaway and then I'm done. Dennis is looking at me like, are you going home? Okay. He's also eating, which is making me hungry. Okay, you told me your name earlier and I'm trying to remember. Highway 242 Nova Scotia. I can't remember. Leslie, I think you're right, Dennis. I think she may have just commented. I'm trying to scroll down. There's so many comments. Yes, Leslie, I think it is. All right, Leslie, congrats. This will be sent with your next order. I'm going to write your name down so I don't forget. And then Christy, I've got hers. Yes, you were right, Dennis, Leslie. I'm terrible at names. I'm sorry. Okay, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Sleep well. I'm really excited. We're kicking off the day with Mark and Katie and Abs, and then we'll have a little break, and then we get Yolanda. We've got Jamie coming. We've got Joe. We've got me. Dennis. All right. See you all tomorrow. Oh, I stand when I craft. I move around too much. I'm like here to here to here. I can't sit. Otherwise, I'm just up and down, up and down. What time tomorrow? So 7:20, 7:30 a.m. is when Dennis will start introducing. Again, it'll all be recorded tomorrow as well. So if you miss anything, yeah, you can watch us.
Bring your coffee.
Yeah, bring your coffee and snacks. Okay, see you all tomorrow. And have a fabulous rest of your night, everyone. Everyone's commenting. All right, bye-bye.